ahead.
Great. So yeah, our control shift is called Greenpeace Community. And these are the 4 things that I was going to talk to. So what we're trying to do and what we've learned from our experience. And I just for some context, New Zealand's a small country. Like there's not many groups, and so we do know a lot of the groups already. And you know, I've been with Greenpeace for 1.5 years now, but obviously Greenpeace has had a lot of networks and relationships in the staff team with grassroots, or they've come from the grassroots. So yeah, there's already a lot of relationship. I guess in terms of petition platforms, there's 3 other main petition platforms, and one of our goals last year was just to try and make our platform, Greenpeace Community, the favorite petition platform for our allies, because it should be, because they're our friends, they're working on environmental issues, they should use our platform, and it's a way for us, it's an easy way for us to support them by offering that platform. So the other 3 petition platforms, there's a government website, which is for official petitions to Parliament. It's not really a campaign site, it's just for petitions. There's change.org, which is the biggest in terms of numbers, but it's not New Zealand based. And then there's another one called Action Station, which is a multi-issue. So they're also friends, and that's a great website and great organization, but they do lots of different issues. So Greenpeace is focused just on environmental campaigns. Yeah. So just, one of the things that we did was, as part of our strategy document, or our strategy process last year, was just to make it an intention to reach out to those grassroots groups, our allies. And so specifically small environmental campaigning organizations who are quite small. So they might be volunteer led, or they might just have 1 or 2 staff members. So they're the kind of group, they don't have their own petition platform, they don't have many resources. Maybe it would support them. Maybe they don't even have a very good email list, supporter list. And so actually our help and the platform can really help them, especially. So one of the way we wrote this is our list of objectives for everything, and one of them was to reach out to established groups and to aim for them to choose Greenpeace Community as the petition platform that they choose when they start a petition or when they want to run a campaign. And just to talk about 2 examples, so one of them is Coal Action Network. So they are focused especially on climate and coal use, and so they're trying to end all coal use in New Zealand, Aotearoa. And this is one of the petitions they did last year with us, and it was not so much a petition, but more of it was a submission. It was part of a submission process. So they came to us originally just asking a question. Asking like how to do it, like should we do a petition, or how do we make the most of this submission process? We have 1 month or 2 months just to make this a public facing issue, to get people on board. And so it started by a conversation, like what's the best thing. And so in that conversation we landed on having a petition which supports their submissions. So this is their actual submission. So people are adding their name to the submission written by a Coal Action Network, and they delivered this public submission with everyone's names on it. And the other one, so we've done a few more campaigns with Climate Justice Taranaki. So this is a climate group as well, and they're based in a local area. So Taranaki is on the west coast of the North Island. And the OMV one is like an older petition. The open submission is from last year, and then the WOMAD petition is from a new one from this year, just last month. And so the submission happened to be at the same time as the previous one. So it was a funny timing, both groups wanting to do submissions on different things. And we had a similar conversation, but they decided to do it slightly differently, where the petition is just a petition which they presented together with the submission, if you know what I mean. I don't know if that makes sense, but the first one was actually people signing on to the submission. And the second one, this one here, is the petition which was included as part of the submission. And the submission was actually a different document with more detail, more policy. And this was just quite a specific ask to refuse this process of permission for oil drilling. Does that make sense? There's a very slight difference, but I guess I think the point of that was that there were similar conversations, but it was supporting them to decide. So the group themselves decided what was best for them, and they used it slightly differently. And it's also like just trying to make the best use of the platform each time. So in a way, for them, I think of it like a learning process for them, like being able to use the platform in different ways. It's not just a petition, but it can also be a submission or something else, or an open letter, or so actually, yeah, helping them to make strategic choices about their campaign and how the digital action can work best within the campaign. I think, yeah, I would, yeah, one of the main things is it is really relational. So it really depends on those conversations. Often we know each other already. So for example, Climate Justice Taranaki, I've known some of those people in there for 20 years personally from previous issues or previous campaigns. And so, you know, I have that advantage coming to Greenpeace, and we know each other when we talk to each other. But it's also before they start the campaign or the petition, having a conversation about what is best and what's the purpose and what's going to happen during the campaign. And so we're not looking just to get lots of petitions. We want them to have a really good experience and to come back and use the platform again because it was a good campaign or a good experience. So, and I guess for me, when I'm trying to give support, I need to make decisions or make judgments about what do they need each time. Like, is it you know, they are campaigners and they have their own experience. A lot of them are very experienced activists, but maybe they don't have so much experience with digital activism or the digital tools. And so it's judging how much support do I give? Is it that sometimes they just want some promotion, or other times it's more about a conversation about strategy or tactics. Is my sound okay, or is I just through comment? Okay. I find myself often, once it's launched, often people, like even for the activists with experience, sometimes they're more used to a kind of activism where it's tactics or offline, or it's direct action or protest. And I find often I'm giving advice or suggestions just about using the digital campaign tools. So for example, the emails, especially, just, you know, if I see a news story, and it's about their campaign, like I'll share it with them and suggest an email to supporters, or if there's a deadline coming up, like they're about to deliver it, just helping them to think about the supporters, especially with the emails. So you know, let them know the deadline's coming up, and afterwards reporting back to let them know what happened. You can see this one, they just sent out 2 emails, and I think both times they suggested, so they weren't using it very much, just in this example. And I guess the other main support that we can give is everyone wants promotion, and as part of that, it's in our interest to share their voice. So it's not Greenpeace talking about their campaign, but actually finding ways for them to talk about their campaign. So if they have social media stuff, like reposting their social media, and the example on the right is a blog post on our website. So often I'll ask someone to write a blog post about their campaign or about what's happening in their campaign, or and the point is for them to talk about it and to profile them. And it's a place, you know, we don't need to own it. It's on our website, so Greenpeace is associated, and it brings traffic to our website, so that meets our metric goals. But for them, it's about they're fronting the campaign. They are the campaigners, and we're providing a platform for them. Just trying to share on Facebook and Twitter. We have a Twitter account for our community platform, which is quite small, but we'll post it on our community site, and then we can reshare it on the Greenpeace Twitter account as well. And it's also a way of when I do that, I try and tag them as well. So if I tag their social media accounts, so it's actually promoting or profiling their social media pages at the same time. Are there any questions? That was actually everything that I had to share, I think.